And we're starting with the bad boy right off the gate. SNK Neo Geo AES, 69,800 yen, but it has 2 joysticks and a memory card, and it looks fairly clean. Now, next to that, we have Ryuko no Ken Art of Fighting for 10,000 before sales tax. I picked that one up. It was clean. It had the original receipt from like 1992. And that's definitely going to be far lower than, well, not far lower, but it's going to be lower than what you can expect to find like at a hard off and a Surugaya in the equivalent condition. Super happy with that one. We have some Chrono Trigger there for 4,980, and we're at WonderGOO in Gunma. It's going to be 6 stores that I visited yesterday, and they will all be featured in this episode. We have the Unemployed Ninja Izuna with part 2 coming in at 34,800 yen, and that has both of those have some pretty gnarly cover art. I do like that, although I'm not very familiar with the series. We have the Guitar Hero DS pack for 2980 with the peripheral there, Super Mario Land, which is a great game. Some Rockman X3 for 4,280. I've seen that one for lower. Director's Cut of Biohazard 2280. We got some Twilight Syndrome. And what else do we have here? And then 13 Stag. I've been playing that one. Picked it up in Osaka. Great game. And the Namco 50th Anniversary Collection, 2780. That one has Ridge Racer, Tekken, and a few other classic hits. But that's one that I've only seen here. Haven't seen that one before. We have Demon's Blaze On or Demon's Crest. And then we have this Nigel Marshall Super Famicom game with alongside a Baja 4-wheel drive for 6980. That Baja one, definitely want that. And then we have Chrono, another copy for, well, this one for the Super Famicom at 3,000 and some change. And then we have Zelda here, Majora's Mask, and I believe that one is the one that is included with the big box bundle. And then the Illusion of Gaia back there. I definitely want a copy of that. I loved playing that one back in the day. But yeah, this kind of location, this is like a warehouse open 24 hours. They sell all sorts of stuff, clothing, movies, of course, video games, and they have a bunch of UFO catchers. And it's pretty much the start of Golden Week here in Japan, so the first floor was super busy with a bunch of families. But here we have Guilty Gear Fragment for 980, and it's a UMD video. And I haven't seen this one before, but that's pretty cool. But the selection here, some of the pricing is going to be lower than what you could expect to find at a Surugaya, even a hard off. But the condition of some of the stuff is not going to be on the same level, and nor is the amount of stock, the inventory. But that was what is that? Toyoshi Hakashi with Wacky Racers for the 3DO. Kind of curious about that one. Virtual Cop 2. What else do we have here? Jurassic Park Interactive for the 3DO. A lot of that FMV stuff. And then Vandal Hearts for the Sega Saturn for 1980. And I'm just quoting the prices before the sales tax. And this is not a tax-free shop. Keep that in mind. In fact, I think I was the only gaijin in the store. And that's just how it goes. And WonderGOO, we have Sega Touring Car for 980. I definitely, I don't know about this game. It's a rough one. But, you know, from the collector's perspective, it is a first-party Sega release. But I don't know if I'll be rebuying it anytime in the future. We got Parasite Eve there for 980, the cinematic RPG. I'm not sure what this is, but it looks kind of interesting, and it is a Konami title. And here we have Breath of Fire 4 for 1780. Now this one seems like it had a pretty big budget by the looks of the production quality. But I do have it. I purchased it off of PSN, and I kind of would like to delve into that. 1280 for Biohazard 2, which is far lower than the book off and the hard off, which seems to be averaging at about 3,500 yen. Here we have a KOF interactive type of FMV movie for the PS1. And then another copy of Biohazard at the same price as the other for 980. And that's going to be like the lowest price. Now, a couple of years ago for 980, you were able to pick up 3 games, and the base price was 480. Here's Castlevania Lament of Innocence, 1780. Full English language options. You just go in the menu, switch it to English. And they have some pretty high-profile Famicom loose carts with that The Legend of Zelda for 6480. And then Final Fantasy 3 for 1980. You can still find that one complete for that price. Although those games, trust me, they're going to jump in price And they're gonna do it hard because some of the Surugayas and hard offs, you know, they're charging like over Ichiman, like 10,000, and in some cases it's nearing the 20,000 mark. But here we have 1080 snowboarding for 2480, the same price as Zelda Ocarina of Time there. And we got, what is this, by Seta, F1 game. There's a lot of F1 games for the Super Famicom. And then here we have the Secret of Mana for 980 with the beautiful cover there. And then here we go, Final Fantasy VI for 1280, and that's pretty much the lowest that I've seen it on this particular day. Now, they're not in the best condition. They're fairly clean. This one's at 1480, but that's another game that I imagine is going to be seeing a rise with the coming years. We have Garou Special there. Next to Street Fighter 2 Turbo. That's another classic. Both of those are classics. And then we have Donkey Kong Country for 980. So the selection here isn't too bad. We have a Majora's Mask. This is a standalone release, but missing the manual. And that's at 2780. Mario Kart at 1780. And then here, this sticker, it's just saying that they don't sell to resellers. But here we have the Dragon Quest Slime 2DS. Beautiful looking machine. 3980 or 39,800 yen. Absolutely beautiful. And these clamshell 2DSs, that's the way to go, I think. The original model, not so hot. But 19,800 for the Vita, 1980 for the Black Wii in the box. And the Neo Geo Mini 4580, that's probably like the lowest that I've seen it in a long time. Here's a Pikachu N64 controller for 4980. Typically you could find those for slightly less. Now check this out. Look at this mini controller. This is the smallest controller that I've ever personally seen. The super mini controller. Now this one is available off of Amazon Japan, and there's a comparison, a size comparison. On Amazon Japan it's about 1780, and they come in a variety of colors, and I think I'm going to order one. But this was Guru Guru. Picked up the Art of Fighting for the Neo Geo AES for 11,000 after the sales tax, and now we're going to be making our way to Book Off. And I actually drove out here, but while I was in the city, I was walking in between the spaces, you know, just because my wife had the car, gave her the car, and it just allows me to, you know, do my own thing. But anyhow, we have PlayStation Vitas, Dreamcast, 2DS clamshells, again, beautiful handheld, and then the back, 9,000 there for the GBA, but it has some notes. And then a red Wii, this is one that you don't often see, 4,500 yen. I have that, and I also have the baby blue color, but those are in the States, 5,400 for the N64. And the Pro, PS5 Pro, after sales tax, it's about 109,000 yen. And for that price, you might as well just get it new. I don't really see too much of a point in getting it used. Maybe you'll get some points back if you're living in Japan, but not a great deal. 1,800 there for Street Fighter 2 Turbo, 2,900 yen for Mario RPG. And this is a great place, these book offs in the more rural areas, smaller cities, to get Super Famicom games. I feel that they're a little bit less expensive here than in the urban areas, and but they're not always going to be in the best condition. Here we have Mickey Magical Quest and Darius Twin for 4,100 yen. And the way that I like to do it, I like to browse each section like rather quickly, just give it a quick scan, and then come back because, you know, just to do another take or sometimes a third take, because you never know who else is game hunting in the store, and you know, sometimes you have to move quick. That's just the nature of the game. All is fair in love and war. 2,300 yen for Chrono Trigger there, but the box is a little bit smashed. And at this particular location, they used to have the games up the staircase, but I realized that they switched things. And a lot of the retro games are now, well, all of them are on the first floor. I just turned the corner, and lo and behold, here it is. We got some loose carts, but the big one, I had to pick up here too, which is this here, Super Big Brother Cho Aniki for the PC Engine. And the condition of this, at first I was thinking, is this like a reproduction? Because it was so clean and so, it was pretty mint. 1,800 for Street Fighter 2 Champions Edition for the PC Engine. And those are probably the two biggest titles, Cho Aniki and Street Fighter. But super happy with that Cho Aniki. And the thing about Cho Aniki, it's a shooter. And there is another version that's on the PC Engine, and both of those games are available on the Nintendo Switch. And it did get a physical release in Japan, so that's another alternative if you want to delve into the world of Choaniki with its funky visual style. But what else do we have here? We got some Goemon N64 action for 1,800 yen, which isn't too bad. Not bad at all, actually. We got some Wind Waker there, Super Monkey Ball 2 for 900 yen. And then we have the blue version of Pokemon, 13,000. I think this is my first time actually holding one of these. But Super Mario DS 64 there, some more Pokemon action. And this version, Super Street Fighter 4 3D Edition, 900 yen with 30% off. I do like that version, and I play it every now and then. I just love the stereoscopic 3D effect. New Super Mario Bros. 2. 3DS games, you know, they're not terribly expensive, and book off and hard off, those two places seem to be great, you know, for getting deals, as well as WonderGOO. But WonderGOO stock is more limited. Here we have the Taito's memory collection for the PS2. Now, all of these games eventually are going to get released on the Switch, and the Switch ports are amazing, and they're pretty much handled by Hamster and their Arcade Archives line. I recommend Volume 3, Rastan, Episode Saga 3, beautiful game. We have Grandia Extreme for 270 yen. And that one looks like it's also high production value. That one also saw a North American release. But I've only ever beaten Grandia 2. Here we have SNK versus Capcom 2 for 720. That's going to be releasing for the Switch and the PS4, Steam, Xbox. We have Raiden 3 for 10,000. Now, I recommend the Switch edition again. It's going to be 3,000 yen. This one is 10,000, and it's going to be probably spitting it out, the image quality at 480i. So yeah, the Switch version, PS4 version may be the way to go. Silent Hill 4 The Room, 4,100 yen. Now this should include, this vanilla release should include like a little sampler soundtrack with 3 tracks. And 4,100 yen, well, look at that old sticker hard off, 2005 vintage. On Breath of Fire 4, 900 yen. But going back to that Silent Hill 4, The Room, 4,100 yen, I feel like that's a pretty good deal. Here we have 2,700 seems to be the average there for the Biohazard games, as well as the Rockman games. 2,300 for the updated Mario 64 game. 1,800 for Double Dash. So not too bad here. What else here? We got some Saturn Bomberman for 1,800. I still have to pick this one up. This one seems like it could be a good time. But I need to beat my PC Engine Bomberman games first. We have Fighters Megamix for 480. That's a pretty good deal in this day and age. I think you can still find that one for 100 yen. But there it is. Super Big Brother Choaniki, 5,000 yen. And I had points and coupons, but look at this. Guardian Heroes, the soundtrack, 6,300 yen. That's about as much as the game, and in some cases even more expensive. But here's another awesome soundtrack. We have Art of Fighting 3, 6,300 yen. This is the arranged soundtrack, which is superior to the original, and the price on that is, 6,300 yen, far more expensive than the actual game on the Neo Geo CD, including the limited edition, which includes the coin. Here we have the MCU and Sega collaboration. Now this musical group did the rap song for Hard Off. We got some Sword Art Online, and then we have the Space Odyssey, Gradius 2, The Ambition of Gopher for 2,100 yen. Beautiful soundtrack, beautiful cover art. Rockman and Forte for 3,200 yen. And typically, if you get that in the box, that's nearing like 20,000 yen. And then Mickey Mouse 3 and 480 for Chrono Trigger. That's dirt cheap. Dirt cheap, my friends. And then let's look through some Famicom games. I feel I haven't given the Famicom some love lately. We got Mappy Land, and a lot of these Namcot releases are going to be at 2,300, including the Dragon Spirit there. And they look mint, but then we have Rolling Thunder for 4,500. And this one, I need to think about that one. I need to look up some videos to see if it's worth getting. I do have it on the Namco collection for the Switch. We got some Dragon Buster with its gold cover there. But they had quite a bit of these Namco games. Highlight for 1,800. That's a pretty cool cover too. Looks like a hardcore RPG as well. Virtual Highlight on the Saturn. That's notorious. And I'm not sure what this one is. Look at that. Something, the Tower or Quest of Key. That one could be cool too. But let's have another look at the Super Famicom games. We have Sailor Moon S. This is a fighting game for 5,900 yen. And then some Kirby All-Stars. And they also had 2 copies of Link to the Past. But that's the book off. Really happy with that pickup. So far I'm like 2 for 2. And we're going to go to WonderGOO. Now, WonderGOO is a great place to pick up all modern things, you know, like Switch games, PS5, PS4, making reservations for the newest releases. You know, City of the Wolves is out. Shinobi's coming out. Unfortunately, at this specific location, they do not allow filming, but I did get some snapshots so we can get an example of what they have. Castlevania, the Advanced Collection and Anniversary Collection, the Neo Geo Volume 1, Volume 2. They also had Volumes 3 and 4. Super Mario 3D Collection, 11,000. That's crazy. And they also have, you know, like retro games. Although the retro games are usually limited to like a small aisle. And sometimes they'll even have a showcase. But as you can see on screen, 380 for the Mario Bros. Games, 980 for Rockman 7. Fire Emblem Echoes for 4,990. And then the Super Mario Land games, all 3, 580 for the Game Boy. Holy Diver, 8980, just the cart only. 900 for a Famicom. So they have a pretty good selection of stuff. The Micro for 19,800 yen. And this 3DS LL 24,000, which seems to be average. And then the GameCube controllers were at 1,500 yen, and they had a number of them. So definitely a good spot to check. And they also had a Series X Xbox. And that bad boy was coming in at 59,900 yen. I definitely want one of these, but going to hold out. And then I drove out to Honjo that same day, and we're going to go to WonderGOO and then hit up the hard off. And again, let's go to the display case. Look at this. They got some Wii U titles in the showcase. I think this is just filler. No, you know, that's just how it goes. But in the back, they have this Armored Core something front, and it looks like it's cell shaded for 10,000 yen. I haven't seen that one, or maybe I have. I can't remember, but it's an interesting title, that one. And then they have Kirby's Return to Dreamland, I believe, there for the Nintendo for 4,000 yen, and a few Pokemon games, and Godzilla for 42,500 yen. Guys, let's not waste any time. Let's go to hard off. And we have, what do we have? The Pikachu edition for 33,000, sitting on top of the N64 disk drive, which is almost at 300,000. The Sega Drive Mini 16,500, which I saw that one at the Surugaya in Omiya like a day or 2 days ago, and that was 6,000 yen less. There's a PC Engine GT Express. It is fully working, but they're selling it as junk because they can't guarantee, you know, that it's going to be working. Those things are notorious for having like sound issues. You know, you need to replace the capacitors. And that's part of like the hidden cost with some of these things. Once you buy like specifically the PC Engine GT, you got to open it up and give it some maintenance, because the capacitors in those things really bad. We got the Taito Memories. Look at that, 49.50. I think you can find that on Amazon brand new for less. And I believe that also got a North American release. And look at these beautiful yellow neon Vitas for, like, it starts at 19,800, as expensive as 33,000. But the Vitas, these are all 2,000 models, beautiful machines. We got the Nintendo GameCube Game Boy Player Bundle for 27,500, a Virtual Boy for 66,000. And we got a PS5 and another box Pikachu for 66,000. Well, not another box, but you know, one in the box. And then I do like how they have all the Nintendo hardware just kind of kicking it in its own little aisle space here. Look at that. Famicom, Disk System, N64, Super Famicom, Wii, Wii U. They got it all here. And 6,600 yen for a Famicom. You know, you get it in the junk section for like 1,000 yen. I think the lowest that I picked one up for was like 200 yen, 300 yen. And it was working. Super Famicoms. Now, this is the kind of place, this specific store, they know what they have, and they're going to know if they have a one chip, and they're probably going to sell it for a higher price. That's a pretty cool shirt. It could be a memento of your travels to Hardoff, 22,000. But it's interesting, you know, I hit up 6 stores, and it's crazy the amount of hardware and variety of games across all 6 stores. And I want to say that together, it's well, you know, it's a beautiful selection of stuff. You know, pricing, I'll leave that up to you guys because it means different things to many different people. I always say that, but it's very true. You know, some of y'all are hardcore collectors. Here we have Zoids for the Switch. That's an old school series. I believe it also has a game on Famicom. Here's some loose cards. We'll have a quick look. And they start at $550 by the looks of it. We have Bonk 2 there, or Super Bonk for 1,100 yen. We got Contra Spirits for $38.50. What else do we have here? Some Aretha. And I'm just kind of showing the more expensive ones here. But here we have some loose Game Boy cards. We got Double Dragon. I used to have that. In the box, that one's pretty pricey. We have Super Mario Land 2, some Kirby, $550, some Nemesis or Gradius for 1,000 yen. So again, a pretty good selection. And if you're digging through the cards, expect to be here for a few hours. But they got some more handhelds. Look at this, $14,850 there for a DMG, and they go. One of them's even in the box. $33,000 for the Neo Geo Pocket. This is the third revision technically. The first one being black and white. And the one for $14,850 is the first color version, and then that one that we just saw was the final revision. And a kids gear, look at this, 27,500 yen. That's a certified bad boy, especially for the hardcore collector. And there's that Neo Geo Pocket color. I do like that one, and that's the first iteration of the color. But all sorts of handhelds. Look at this. They got you covered, but you know what you gonna do with the? Is it a good price for y'all? 8,000 yen there for the GBA, the pink translucent one. 33,000 for a boxed SP. 7,000 for a sealed PlayStation memory card. Now this little adapter is for the WonderSwan, which allows you to hook up headphones for 6,600 yen. I picked one up in Denden Town for like half that price. And heck yeah, I use it. Now that I have Makaimura for WonderSwan. All sorts of DSs there. And look at this beautiful 3DS. 19,800 yen. And it's saying that the 3DS is still popular. And don't forget to pick up a game if you decide to pick one up. 33,000 there for the lime green XL. And the pink XL with the box. 33,000 yen. Yeah, that one's seen a little bit of... Well, all this stuff has seen a little bit of a jump. But there's also some pink PSPs. They got all the colors here. They got all the flavors. Various models, 2,000 models, 3,000 models, and a 1,000 model in the box for 22,000. I do have a soft spot for the 1,000, and I have a ceramic white one in the box. You know it. I also have a 3,000. I have two 3,000s. I have the PSP Go, but I don't have a 2,000 model. And the PSP is my favorite handheld. Love that thing. And more hardware. You think this is over? We're just getting started here. Look at this Sega Mega Drive. 16,500 yen, 24,750 in the box. Mega Drive 2 at the same price. Look at all these Saturns. But the stock here is pretty good. Even Neo Geo CD. What's that? 44,000 in the box. And then next to that is a Duo R for 27,500 yen. Unfortunately, this one looks like it's missing a tooth. Look at that. It's missing a little flap for the Hue card. Dreamcast, 49,500 yen for one of those. Another Series X for 60,000. So far less expensive at the GOO. And then another AES, another bad boy, 77,000. And there's even a Master System there. And then a lot of that stuff, it, has like the security. I haven't seen them tethered like that to the little chain, but a 1X, and that was a white one. I do enjoy the 1X. Still play mine. A PS2, what's that, like some bluish looking one. All sorts of PlayStation 2s, 19,800 yen. A PS1 in the box, 16,500. And then what do we have here? We got the Tales of Xillia PS3 edition. I recently sold mine, 14,300 yen. I'm getting rid of a lot of hardware at the moment. I need to make space. What do we have here? 115,000 there for the PS5 Pro. I don't think I'm going to be upgrading to a PS5 Pro. I'm good with my Slim. And the Mayflash Elite stick. This is the stick that I use. And I use the Brook adapter for, so I can connect to my Dreamcast, my Saturn. But I love that arcade stick. Sanwa parts, man. A lot of arcade sticks here. 19,800 yen for this fighting stick. The PS5 edition, whatever that is. Train controllers. The PlayStation Eye. More GameCube controllers. Look at 33,000. So it's about... Like WonderGOO was 1,500 yen, so less than about half that price. The purple Xbox controller, that's kind of cool looking. Pretty cool, but a lot of controllers, a lot of cables. We got the little Bomberman multi-tap adapter. What's the price on that bad boy? I'm not sure what this thing is. Does this allow you to connect like a wire? Or I don't know what that is. A GPS thing for the PSP. And then an AC adapter. And this Hori box. So this looks like it's just like a RF or AC adapter. And we got another showcase at the top closest to heaven. Neo Geo AES. We're going to work our way up. And we got some memory card adapters for the PS3. We got the expansion memory packs for the N64. And those are coming in at 5,000 before the sales tax. And I believe this store is also not tax free, but I could be wrong. We have Mr. Do. That one in the box is kind of expensive. And then Final Fantasy 3850. I got it just last week, complete in the box for 2,000 yen. Super clean and very happy with that pickup. Rockman 6 for 49.50, just the loose cart. Yeah, Rockman 6. I have that for the PlayStation 1, a part of the Rockman Works collection. 19,800 yen for this Bandai. I don't know what the heck that thing is. Looks like a Tamagotchi thing. Gigawing Generations, 11,000. And this game is kind of funky for 7,150. And I've seen it before, and it's kind of interesting that it's Enix. And then 7,000 yen for the Art of Fighting Neo Geo CD collection. I guess it's more expensive than the soundtrack, although I think it's just this store. And here's a variety of, PlayStation, PC Engine games. Now, the big one here is going to be GT24 for the Sega Saturn at 12,100 yen. That was a Jellicoe racing game. And in the arcade, it ran off of the Model 2 board, the same as Daytona USA. I don't know how the Sega Saturn port fares, but that's one that I definitely will add to the collection sometime. Unfortunately, that one didn't have the spine card, the precious Obi card, so that was a no-go for me. What do we have here? Game Boy games, Famicom games, The Legend of A Link to the Past there for 4,000, so slightly less expensive at the book-off. 5,000 for Rockman 7 in the box. They even have Star Fox in there. What's the deal with that? 3,000 yen, Super Mario World, Legend of Mana 3. And then look at these games at the forefront, these four. So pink and colorful, I have no idea what they're about. 33,000, 24,750. They're expensive. Rockman X3 for 10,000 before the sales tax. So, yeah. What else do we have here? We have Sonic Spinball for 8,000 and Super Street Fighter 2, the new challengers at 7,000. If that's complete, I want to say that's pretty competitive, but here we go. The cookies and cream, the Neo Geo AES. Now, Real Bout 2, 88,000. I picked that one up at the Surugaya in Kobe, Sanomiya Station for 35,000 complete. I was so blown away. Now, the one that's at 139,700 yen, that's going to be Sonic Wings 2. King of Monsters for 33,000. And then a lot of it is just like the earlier titles like Samurai Showdown 1 and 2. Garo Special, KOF 95 coming in at 19,000. We have Thunder Force 3 there for the Mega Drive. And King of Fighters 94. 10,000 yen. I definitely want that one as well. But not a bad selection of Neo Geo games. Good old Neo Geo. Killer is Dead, PS3. Love that game. And then here we have No More Heroes. Both of them coming in at 880 yen. And then Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. I think that got a remaster, I believe. And then Red Dead Redemption Game of the Year, 22,000 or 2,200 yen. And Dead Space for 1,000 yen before the sales tax. And those were the North American versions of the game. Here we have Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom. And I believe this includes all the characters, which the North American release was a GameStop exclusive. What else do we have here? PlayStation 3 games. This is one of the greatest racing games, MotorStorm 2. And the 3D edition is awesome. I kind of want this one, this BioShock Infinite, the complete edition. I haven't played the DLC packs. I have beaten the game. Amazing game. I love the BioShock series. Part 1 and Part 3, even Part 2. Borderlands Game of the Year edition. That Ninja Gaiden 2 Sigma limited edition, they also had it at the book off I was at, and it was less expensive. Initial D there for 6,000. That's definitely higher than average. Rogue Warrior. I vaguely remember seeing this one at way back in the day at a GameStop. Don't know too much about it though. Another North American title, Tiger Woods. And Fallout 3. Now this Fallout 3 includes all the DLC packs. And it's 500 yen. Now unfortunately this one is only in Japanese. I got a platinum on that. And I kind of would like to dive back into the world of Fallout 3. We got this McDonald's special disc. I often see this one. I think maybe this was given away with certain meals at McDonald's. I don't really know the story behind it. But PlayStation 2, still collecting like a madman for it. And we have R-Type Final. I definitely want one of these, but the price was a little bit higher than average here. And then at the bottom, because it, the cover is white, and you can see it here more clearly. Usually the bottom is always like dirty like that. So I might have to settle for like a greatest hits version. Here we have Appleseed EX, and this one looks pretty cool. Haven't seen this one before, and it looks like it's like a third-person shooter RPG type of game. 880 for Biohazard 2, which really caught me off guard. I was expecting that game to be at least like in the 3,000 range, specifically at this location. But this location, as you see, they're well stocked. Hardware, software, they got it all. We got some Tekken 3 for 1,000 yen. That one you could still find for 100 yen in the junk bin, so stay frosty. 4,000 for some Rival Schools 2. Star Gladiator Episode 1 for 1,650. Both of those, or at least Star Gladiator, is going to be a part of the Capcom Fighting Collection Volume 2. Looking forward to that one. Capcom Generation 5. Here's another PC Engine GT. 55,000 yen. No sound on that bad boy. And those things, I might even sell mine. I did take it to Osaka. I was playing it, but then the headphone jack malfunctioned, so I got to replace that. It's just such a high maintenance handheld. It's a little bit annoying, but 11,000 there for the PSP 3000. 3,000 for the DS Lite, all black, which looks very slick. 3DS is at 8,000. A lot of those are just going to have like yellow screens, various little issues. These could be perfect for like modding. Game Boy, a Game Gear for 11,000. I don't know why that's so high, especially in the junk case. And then there's a vanilla Wonder Swan there for 3,000. And that PSP, that's like the God of War edition looking one. I'm not sure what that film is in the back, but it's a pricey one. But that Wonder Swan, great little handheld, the Wonder Swan. What else we got here? What else we got here? We got some more DS Lites. 6,000 there. I picked up a DS Lite, a white version. Oh, look at this. I'm going to interrupt myself. A Walkman. This could be the original Walkman. 33,000. That looks like the first model. I don't know. Here we have some Game & Watch. The Donkey Kong. The first iteration of the D-pad there for 5,000. But that Walkman, ooh, here's another one, 11,000. But that one on the top, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I'm not an expert on Walkmans, but do I want it? Yeah. Do I need it? No. Xbox 360, 500 yen. That's super cheap. Now this is the 20 gig launch edition, PS3, and the issue here, it is working, but it's just not reading PS2 or DVD discs. But that could be easily remedied. I have one of those versions and it's absolutely beautiful, that all black finish. Better than the 60. But there's no wireless functionality in terms of like internet. 22,000 here for the PC Engine CD-ROM with the IFU 30 interface. And it's working, but you need to replace the gear on the CD-ROM side, and you probably have to recap it. Put in some new capacitors, and that bad boy will be up and running. And then look at this, more PlayStation 2s. You know, if you have the eagle eye, you already seen it, but we're gonna show this Dreamcast here for 3,000. But here it is, a PSX. Now this is the Desert 5,500 yen DESR, and most likely, I mean, what's going on here? It's a kind of, I should have flipped this over, but this is a heavy machine, and you know, having a big camera in one hand, it's just not going to be possible. But I don't know. What do you guys think? I've had so many PSX machines throughout the past. Some of them have had pretty good functionality, but there was always always an issue with it, whether it was the hard drive not reading PS2 discs. But I currently have none. I got rid of all of them. Anyway, what else do we have? We got some PS3 Slims. PS2 is pretty cool color, but when these sun fade, you know, 3,000 yen. As a matter of fact, I saw one that was complete at the WonderGOO, but it had such bad sun fading. I don't know. It's kind of goofy looking. Gradius Portable for the PSP, 5,000 yen. They had a pretty good selection of PSP titles. Here we have Disgaea Portable for 500 yen. They also had Silent Hill Book of Memories for the PlayStation Vita. Brave Story. Now this UMD video does have, I think it has English, but I think it might just be in the subtitles. Which is still, that's pretty cool. Here's another copy of Gradius Portable. The non-budget release. Same price though. We got Persona 3 Portable. Ridge Racers 2. Oh, that's such a great game. 2750. Highly recommended. And then we have Parodius Portable. Now this has 5 titles. That's a pretty good collection. That's coming in at 10,000. And next to that, the legendary Ultimate Makaimura. And this is Kai. Now this one adds just the traditional side-scrolling version of the game, because the original release, well, here's Super Mario 3D Land for 500 yen. But that Makaimura for PSP, the original release, it was kind of like a light RPG elements in the form of collecting power-ups, and you know, you would have to backtrack. But that Kai version is just a straightforward game. Here we have Dead or Alive Dimensions. Now this one, full English language options. Great fighter for the 3DS, especially in full-on 3D. And I'm curious about this Epic Mickey coming in at 2,000 yen. I do like that it is a 2D game. And what is this? Onimusha? I'm not sure what that is. I think it's Onimusha. Great game, by the way. And that one does have full English language on the Japanese Xbox version. Ninja Gaiden for 500 yen. That's another one. Full English language options there. 500 yen too. That's not bad. Fallout New Vegas. I got a platinum on that. That was a pretty cool game, although it had so many bugs. I remember coming home from the midnight release, and I popped it in, and right away in the beginning, like the NPC's head kind of detached and it started spinning. It was such a wild, goofy thing. Halo 5 Guardians. I haven't played that one yet. And look at the cover to Rainbow Six 3 Black Arrow. Looks like a cheesy 90s film. But yeah, a pretty good selection of stuff here. And then Macross, Do You Remember Love, and Project Justice or Rival Schools 2. That's a great shooter. And the price there, 1,000 yen. That's actually pretty good. Tetris S. Virtual Cop 2 for 2,000. I don't know about that. I think that's like a 500 yen game, Virtual Cop 2. Unfortunately, the part 2 is not compatible with the Sega Saturn mouse, but the first release is compatible with the mouse, which is a crying shame. And that holds true for also House of the Dead. They should have had mouse compatibility. But 500 yen there for Virtual Cop. That's a pretty good deal. Sega Worldwide Soccer 98, 500 yen. I wonder if that's any good. KOF 95 for 1,500 yen. Virtua Fighter 2, 500 yen. So a pretty good selection of first-party titles there for the Saturn. Pachinko action there. Eve Burst Terror. Don't know what that's about. They had a Deep Fear there. Vampire Hunter for 1,000. Snatcher, 5,000 yen. I don't know how the Saturn port holds up, but I hear good things about the PC Engine version. We have Mario Kart Double Dash, Biohazard 4, and they just have games for like all the platforms. Mind you, the selection is not as big as Surugaya, but you know it's pretty nice that they have quite a bit of stuff. Here we have what's that? Something Dirt Rally, F1 Race for the disc system. We have Insector X, 9,000 yen before the sales tax. This looks like a shooter. Predates Mushihime-sama. Thunder Force 2, the Mega Drive edition. And then Super League. What else do we have? This is like a Koei type of game. Pretty cool cover, but that's going to be some hardcore kanji-filled action there. Here we have a wrestling game, which this looks a little bit crude. Those early Genesis games. Columns 3. Looks like it's a pretty dirty, like an off-white color. Here we have Puyo Puyo for the Game Gear. Even Game Gear, just one. Not sure what this is. This is an early Sega game. And then some Wonder Swan. What is this, Mahjong? The professional Mahjong simulator for Wonder Swan. And then Sonic Advance 2. 60-50 after the sales tax. They need to release all the advanced games, the Rush games, Sonic Pocket Adventure into one collection. Afterburner for 3,000. This one looks pretty cool. I wonder how it holds up on the old Famicom. And then we have Mario Tennis for 4,000. Not sure what this is. Another Mahjong type of game. Let's go to Furuichi and look at that. We are offering high purchase rates. And currently for Golden Week, 10% off, but that excludes video games. Boo. Look at this big old bear. 40% off. Try to get that one in your luggage. But they had some pretty cool figures. You know, here we have Guts for 16,000. I actually have that one. I didn't pay that price, though. We have Sekiro. 58,000. Dang. And then we have this Centaur. Look at this. 29,500 yen. They had so many cool figures. Look at this King Ghidorah. 55,900 yen. All right, let's go look at some games. Final Fantasy VI. Now, this one is very clean, but 2730. So almost, it's over double what we saw at Guru Guru earlier in the day. But these copies are clean, and it's probably more collector grade worthy. It's going to get you closer to that mint status. And then Chrono Trigger. 1,160, but that's for the box only, which is fine. If you're a box art collector, that's going to fit the bill right there. Gradius 3 for 4,160. And I had a pickup here too. And I did now this part of the video, Area 88, that wasn't too bad, NBA Jam. But this part of the video is going to be shorter just because I covered this store in greater detail last week. Illusion of Gaia there for 9,100 yen. But I didn't cover this aisle. But we have all the Wario Land games. Love those games. 42.50. Now the Wario Land 2, if you want it complete, I think it should include a big old sticker. Here's Wario Land 3. That's the only one I'm missing. But they had a big heavy hitter here. And I'm not talking about Kirby, but Kirby's a great game. They had parts 1 and 2. And look at that. Some of them are averaging 7,000 yen. But here's a bad boy right here. Right here. Castlevania Legends, 19,120 yen. Ooh. I was thinking about that one. They also had one in the showcase, which was closer to 30,000. We have the ASCII mission stick. Now, in the back here, this is where they have all the hardware, and they kind of mix in the junk hardware, but 2 Xboxes, about 20,000, and then the Virtua Stick Pro, 71,300 yen. Good luck getting that one in your suitcase. And that thing has a good weight to it. I was lifting it up, and I was pretty impressed by the weight. This is for the PS Vita 2000, that little pouch, and that was kind of tempting. $18,000 for the Sega Saturn edition. The PC Engine mouse. This is not something you see every day for $6,000. We got Dreamcast and then more Virtua Sticks. 8,600 yen. And the other one, same price. In the box. The Dreamcast keyboard for $39.90. And 9,800 yen for this Saturn. But there's something going on there. It's probably like discolored, which is no good. What else do we have here? PlayStation Move adapter. A PlayStation Vita in the box, 9,800 yen. Now, it's saying that the body is scratched and that the screen is a bit yellowed, but that's about the price that I paid for mine. Same color. Actually, no, mine was all white. That was a light blue white, but mine, absolutely perfect. I just got so lucky with that one. Here we have the Minecraft Xbox controller. I'm probably going to watch that movie later today. And then we have the first iteration of the analog controller for the PlayStation. Look at that. Longer handles, and the thumbsticks have the indentation there. 6,700 for that one. A wired Xbox 360 controller, the Dreamcast FT controller, and a Joy-Con for 5,700 yen. Over in Akihabara, 2,800 yen. Cheaper. A variety of Neo Geo Pockets, Wonder Swans. So as you can see, we saw hardware for just about everything on this little tour. The PlayStation 2 Saturn pad, super expensive, that one. But this is the kind of shenanigans you can expect to see. You know, if you're planning a trip out here, hit up a few stores, and more than likely you are gonna see everything. There was even a disc system which was at the hard off, which was 33,000. Now that's Curse of Darkness there, Castlevania. I haven't confirmed whether that one has English language options, but eventually I will be picking it up. But a great selection of PlayStation 2, and I want to say, like, Surugaya, as it stands, might be the best out of all the major franchise corporate stores. Surugaya might be the best. And then Zanuck X Zanuck for 10,000 yen. No manual, but I picked it up anyway. That's going to be my chance. That's an expensive game. And I'm definitely going to put in the time on that one. Sonic Wings Special. I have the Arcade Hits version. But a great time. And as I said, you know, plan your trip accordingly. Hit up a few stores. And as you saw in this video, you're probably going to see it all. I can't really think of anything major but that I missed, at least hardware-wise, but there's always something, I guess. But a great time. I'm going to be going out filming today, so expect another video very, very soon. And until then, I will catch you later. Ciao. Southside.